All code for this project can be found at my website, yarbsimajgames.co.cc. Hello everybody, yarbsimajgames here, and today we're doing part 2 of my my basic tutorial series, like learning your C++. So as you remember last time, when we left, we had this here, we had our basic program that displayed hello world, and today we're going to move on from that. I'm going to teach you the basics of variables, in particular this episode, the integer. Now, integers, I just like to tell you a little bit about them. They can store numbers, whole numbers, up to like one number and down to one number. You don't really need to worry about that. They'll do most numbers. If it is entered with a decimal number, as I said, it can't store them. So what it'll do is either round up or round down. So to declare an integer, we simply type int, and then we need to give the integer a name. Now this cannot be like a function, so we couldn't, for example, call our integer for, that's a for loop, or do, or while. It has to be something that's not an actual function. So we could call our integer, for example, help. Yep, and we end that with a colon. Okay. Now we need to set the integer with a value. Now we can do it with a fixed value. So for that we will type help, and then help is equal to, so we put a little equal sign, and let's say we'll set help to 2. Okay, and then that with a colon. Okay, so now to display a variable, we simply type its name before a pair of those little sort of pointy things, and then we of course need to put that in there so that endl has one of those as well. Now when we run this, it will now say hello world 2, because that's what we have entered as the variable to be. Okay, just let me get rid of the set color command. Okay, but that is good and all, but you might say, well, why couldn't we just put 2 in there and just sort of have done with it? Well, we could do that, but we can enter things into variables as well. So if you get rid of help and type, now this is the first input I'm going to teach you. If you could call system pause an input, but first input where it actually logs what you input. So we can type in C in, and then little pointy brackets, but the other way this time, and then help. Yep. So now when we run the program, again, it's now going to not display our text at first. So say we entered 10, and then press enter. It would then help is now set to 10, so it's now put in hello world 10. Now also with these variables, you can also put in things such as maths operations. So say I replace that there with the sum of the 2 NOs. So stop. The sum of the 2 NOs is, okay. So now we'll need to declare more variables. So int num1 colon. Oh no, you can also have spaces in your variable names. That's also one thing to bear in mind. Int num2 colon. So now the first number we want to input is num1, because we want to have that number. So we can then add it. So that there now, num1 is the first number that you enter, and then we want C in num2. So what we have now done is we have now declared two variables, num1 and num2, and then we've just told the user to input those. Okay, int help is going to be our answer variable. So when it's worked out the answer, it's going to put that in there. Now, one thing we can do is tell the user to actually enter this here. So if we type in cout, so now what it's going to do is when the user, it's going to ask the user to input a number, which makes the program a little bit more user friendly. And then after this here, we're going to use the feature we looked at last time, endl, so that once the user has entered a number, it will then go down onto a new line, so the user's not entering a number on the same line. We can just copy this here to save a little bit of time, and then cout endl. So now this is the maths part of the program. So what we will do is we will say help, because that's the variable we want our calculation to go into. Then we will put an equal sign like we did before, but instead of putting a constant like we did before, which was 2, we will now type in num1 and then a little plus sign, num2 colon. So now when we run the program, it's now going to ask us for a number. I will enter 2. Now it's going to ask us for another number. I will enter 1. And it's going to say the sum of the two numbers, and now I've shortened it, is 3, which it is. It doesn't really take a genius to work it out. Now, there are various different symbols you can use in here. There's obviously plus, but there is also minus. That's the symbol for minus. There's times, which is shift and 8. And then divide, which is just slash. Okay, another thing we can do with an integer is, say we wanted to add 1 to what help was equal to. So say we had that there, but we wanted to then add 1 more onto help. Now, to do that, instead of typing help is equal to help plus 1, we can type help plus plus, which is basically the same as help is equal to help plus 1. We can also type in minus minus, which does the same job, but for negative. So if we change that to plus 1, so say 2 plus 2 is equal to 5, even though it isn't, because we just added 1 to help. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. As ever, the code will be posted up on my website. Peace out, maybe, again. Don't forget to click on the link in the description to check out the code for this tutorial. And of course, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe if you like my videos.